I am sitting down with the man who has earned pretty much every international accolade you can, highlighted most recently by hitting his 11th and 12th short course world title. We're talking to Chad le Clos. Chad, coming off Melbourne, you're getting ready today for a little family get together to celebrate this accomplishment. How are you feeling today?
Hey guys, it's great to be on the show. Thanks for having me. I think I've been absolutely over the moon. I think I couldn't have actually imagined a better welcoming party, just coming out with the gold medal. It's been a hard 3 years for me, really, really hard 3.5 years. And I think I knew it was coming, I could feel this was coming. I've been telling my close circle of people, I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get the crown back. But yeah, it's an emotional moment. So I don't know if you can hear everyone's just arriving now. So it's, yeah, but it's amazing. Really, really proud of this.
Can you tell us about this 3.5 years and kind of what have been these ups and downs that have gotten you to this moment, especially switching training to moving to Germany with Dirk Lange?
I think for me, everything was going really good up until about February of 2020. We were actually in really good shape, really good nick to do some serious damage at the Olympics in 2020. Obviously, COVID hit everyone differently, but for me, what happened was at the time I was with Energy Standard, we had a little sit up in Turkey. And basically from the end of Feb, we came straight home, right? And we didn't have any training from March until basically ISL at the end of September. So we weren't actually allowed to swim in South Africa. So we were kind of going, not illegally, but we were, maneuvering our way around to try and get some training in. But it was a very hard 6 months. And then, we kind of got ourselves back. And then the program got closed, Energy Standard, at the end of 2020. So we lost all our teammates, all our coaches. We were trying to make it work from the back end of 2020 through to the summer of this year. So about a year and a bit, we were kind of just trying to make it work, for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way back then. But yeah, I had a lot of other difficulties outside the water. I had this incident that happened last year, January, which really shook me up. Something I'm not really ready to talk about just yet, but let's just say that it was very traumatic. Let's say a couple months from January of 2021 through to about June of last year. And then, the Olympics happened and, things happened, how they happened. And yeah, I wish hindsight's a beautiful thing. I wish I could have gone back to those moments and, done things a little bit differently, spoken to people a little bit earlier, kind of got my head right a little bit earlier. But, I guess everything happens for a reason. So,
yeah. So then coming off the Olympics, if I'm recalling correctly, if I recall what I heard correctly, at least you were kind of bouncing around, right? I mean, you had ISL right after the Olympics,
yes.
And then kind of training where you could, getting competitions in where you could. I mean, how do you feel like the 21-22 season went?
You know what, man, I was actually quite confident because I felt like I'd put everything behind me. When I actually really hadn't, if I'm being honest. I think I was kind of like 70% there, with putting all the stuff that I was dealing with behind me. And I felt very, very excited about going to the Commonwealth Games this year. This was a huge moment for me and for South Africans. But it didn't go my way. I think it was just a little bit too soon to kind of put all the pieces together. We kind of, I say this respectfully, we were gypsies for a year and a half. We didn't have a home base. We didn't know we were going to be the next week. We were just kind of making it work with the guys that were kind of didn't really have a team after Energy Standard, that small group of people. So, yeah, sorry about the babies are shouting, but I'm grateful for for everything that happened because it taught me a lot of lessons. And I think Dirk has been a huge revelation in my career and in my life these last 3 months because, for the first time in a couple of years, I know where I'm going to be next week. I know I'm going to be in 3 months' time. I have a training time. I have a training team. I have a coach that we're putting plans together. Not to say that wasn't happening before, but since the team broke up in 2020, it was extremely difficult to make that work. So yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, but finally I've got the base and the ground that I've needed. I feel like honestly I haven't really been a professional swimmer the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into what has gone so well with Dirk, that base. I mean, that's a huge thing. I don't think people realize how big not only having a home base is, but having that consistency and knowing where you're going to be next week, where you're going to be next month, not only as a human, but as an athlete who your well-being is based off of, your very elite performances. And to after Energy Standard broke up, first off, can you, in your own words, can you just describe what that team meant to you? Because it was such a special setup, right? I mean, you were in Turkey, you're at Gloria Sports Arena, which is a wonderful
Yeah.
facility. You have this very elite group of training partners, just kind of from all different walks of life.
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. Like you said, we had amazing spots. We worked so well for the 2.5 years that we kind of were based there. And like I said, everything was great, man. I was in great shape in February of 2020. I mean, you can never ever talk about winning Olympic gold medals, but man, we're catching 2 medals at worst. I even thought with the year and a half that I had leading up to Olympics with the lack of training, I still believe that 2 bronzes were at least on the cards. Honestly, I was very shocked that I never picked that up. Not even making the final in 100 fly. But I think it just goes to show you that exactly what you just said, the consistency, the base, the team around you is so important. My dad's been telling me for a long time now, I need to make sure that I'm in a professional setup. And I couldn't quite understand what he was trying to tell me, because I was training hard, right? I trained damn hard all the time, even if I'm by myself. But it's not about that. It's about those sacrifices that you're making, the earlier mornings, the schedule that you got to keep to, staying in that regimen of being in a team environment is so, so important, I believe, So I think just being in Germany now for these last couple of weeks, heading after the World Cups, heading into the World Championships, just gave me that stability and that confidence. And, there obviously were numerous other factors, but those definitely played a big role in Chad Leclerc 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. So then tell me a little bit about the details of what you're doing with Dirk, what the training group is like, and honestly, ultimately, why you decided to go with him, over I don't know any of the other options you might have had.
No, for sure. I think, look, Dirk and I have had a relationship for a little over a decade now. He coached my friend Cameron van der Berg to gold in 2012, and I've swum once or twice with him in the lead up to 2012 Olympics. So for me, we were we were close outside the pool, you could say. We never really had a professional relationship, let's call it. And I knew that after the Commonwealth Games, we had a small team which we were kind of trying to make work, but we didn't, I based everything off results, So we kind of said, in December of last year that we're going to go to the Commonwealth. We're going to see how this works with us being, kind of just traveling the world and just seeing if it works out. And when it never, I obviously thank my former team for everything they did because they were great and we still are great friends. So there's no hard feelings there. But Dirk was just the perfect fit for me. I think he was the missing piece in my puzzle these last couple of years, to be honest with you, because we understand each other in a very deep way. Like, he's a warrior mindset, right? He's a gladiator, just to put it bluntly. So that's the mindset I've always shared. For me, it's always been about winning. It's always been about performing at the highest level, trying to win, striving to race the best in the finals, those big moments, those gladiator moments. And I think Dirk and I just share that same mindset, so we clicked right away from the first day that we worked together. And I think he has a deep level of understanding with swimming, of course, but more importantly, I didn't expect him to be so understanding. People that know Dirk, he's a very straight guy. He's a very strong personality, a great personality. Like I said, we're friends. We've been friends outside the pool, but he's a very strong personality. And I think I was very surprised at how understanding he was with the needs that I need, and he understands that my team is important, my family is important, coming back home to South Africa is important. He understands that the balance of swimming needs to be met in order to succeed. So yeah, I was very surprised, but in a very good way. So it's been a dream start under him. So yeah, a big thanks to him.
Obviously you're home now. Do you go home often? I mean, because I'm guessing the travel from Germany to South Africa is not an easy one.
Not an easy one, yeah. It's not an easy one. If I was European, it would be a lot easier. But no, look, for me, I'm going to try and spend as much time as I can with him in Germany. But I will come back every couple weeks/months. But to be honest with you, there's only a year and a half to the Olympics, So I'm spending another 3 weeks here in South Africa. I'm going to kind of start training by myself in January for the first week and a half, 2 weeks before I head over that side. And I'll probably be there until end of March. So I'll do 6-7 weeks. Then I'll come back for my national championships, but I'll come a week or two before, have a week or two after. So I'll get a month in South Africa there. And then it's 3 months to the Worlds. And then after that, it's pretty much a year out to the Olympics. So, it's kind of just making those sacrifices now to pay dividends at the end of 2024, So all the focus for us at the moment is just improving. I think long course is the next focus now. Short course was a great, was amazing. But we've only been working together for like really, really short time now. So I think, just building on those blocks, hopefully getting on the podium now in Fukuoka would be a great step. And then obviously Paris is the big one.
Yeah. I mean, so going back to Melbourne, you went at best time. I mean, at 30 years old, that is not something we see in our sport too much, especially for someone who has achieved as much as you have at a pretty young age, or, in their 20s. We don't always see someone go in best times at 30. What do you feel like you improved on in the short pool to be able to put that performance out?
If I'm being totally honest with you, man, it was a huge mindset change. So for me, it was just about, man, I don't know how to put into words. I was battling a lot of demons these last year and a half. I don't want to make this into a sub story, but the truth was I was proper depressed. I was in a really bad place a year ago. Like things happened out of my control, and there was a lot of things that, happened in my life which were really couldn't really see coming. Let's just put it that way. And all outside the pool. And I wasn't able to shake that emotion out of it, right? So when I was racing these last year and a half, when I was racing in Tokyo, when I was racing at Commonwealth Games this year, 3-4 months ago, I was swimming with emotion, right? So I always have emotion. I'm an emotional guy. I swim with passion. I swim with fire, always. But there's always an element of control around it. There was zero control around it. I was swimming like I describe it as a desperate man swimming. I had to show everyone, I had to show the community of swimming. I had to show South Africa. I had to prove to everyone wrong. Oh, you understand? I'm fighting with myself. I'm swimming like that. You understand? And for me, that was the problem. So once I got rid of everything, I got rid of those demons. I took it back. Dirk kind of came in there. He reminded me what I'm good at underwaters, bringing it back hard, changing the tactics up a little bit, reminding everybody who I was. I think that was the key from the start of the World Cups. It was all a confidence booster. You know what I'm trying to say? I knew Melbourne, for me, World Champ finals are not about for me, it's never been about times. Times don't matter to me. It's always been about the race. And I just raced the race. That's all I really did. I raced the race and the time took care of itself. I believe next season I'll swim short course. I'll definitely swim personal best times. I truly believe that. I think long course, I'll be very close to my best times. And Paris, I will definitely be PBing in Paris. That's a guarantee. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's going to be good enough for a medal or for a gold medal. Of course, I hope that's my goal. But we will definitely be in the best shape ever in Paris at 32 years old. That's a promise.
That's an exciting promise. Do you looking forward? I don't know how far you're looking forward. Do you think you'll keep swimming after Paris?
Oh, easy, for sure. I'll be in LA. I'll be competitive in LA for sure. 100%. Like, I say this respectfully, these last, let's say 2.5 years, right? Because COVID took a year and a half out.
Yeah.
I could feel it coming, right? I know it's short course. I get it. I understand that it's short course, and I have got 12 world titles, like you said. So it's I'm a good short course swimmer, right? But I could feel it coming, right? I thought it was going to come at the Commonwealth Games, but you'll see next year. Next year will be a good year for me. I can promise you that. Like, again, am I good enough to win next year? We'll see. But we're making building blocks for Paris. I have a lot of work to do long course. My short course season is generally always a lot better, especially at the end of the year. But I do need to put in some big work because I haven't had the time to put in a lot of crazy work. So this camp now has been more about underwaters, confidence, finding myself again, to be honest with you. Walking out there, controlled emotion, passion, but just really ready to race at the end of the day. Not have to win. Desperate man. I wasn't, none of that. That's not going to happen again. But that's exactly how it was these last 2 years.
I mean, and it seems like for a lot of people, you kind of have to go through those lows to be able to come out the other side and be better and, more have that wisdom to know what works, what doesn't, how to deal with certain situations. So now, the heavy training, what does that look like for you? Is that just putting in tons of meters? Is that putting in tons of race pace? What does the heavy training look like for you?
To be honest, man, it's only been a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure. We start working in a week's time, but it'll be obviously a bit of mileage for sure to get that base in January. But yeah, I've never really. I mean, it's well known. I'm not really strong in the gym. I haven't really done much gym work, So we're going to work a bit on that, and maybe just get my core was really bad. I think when I went there, I think even the young girls were beating me. And I'm not the most athletic person outside the pool. I know it's a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but it's the truth. So I'm working a lot on that, and just making sure that I'm ticking all the boxes really, because I've always trained hard, right? I've always been the hardest trainer in the group wherever I've gone in the world. So that's never been a huge problem for me. I think it's just making sure that everything else is ticked off. The recovery, ice baths, the massages, the sacrifice. I was always, like I said, the last 2-3 years, some of it is absolutely my fault. I take responsibility for, not ticking all the boxes, not doing the right recovery, not, taking the massages, taking the rest properly, always showing for training on time and working hard. But other stuff in my life maybe preoccupied me slightly, a little bit, So now I'm fully back on that professional mindset, So it's really, really great.
That is really great to hear, Chad. And I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat, especially right before your family party. Any parting thoughts before we sign off today?
Absolutely. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the swimming world, especially the people that have supported me. I also thank the guys that didn't support me, because that gave me a lot of motivation. I did tell you so. But I'm just very grateful. I really am grateful for the support that I've had, especially this last week. I've actually felt the support from the people, like more than ever. I mean, even just going out here in South Africa and seeing, people around, like it feels like London 2012. Like I came back, there were people at the airport for me. It was a crazy moment. And I think, I've always said you don't judge a man's character for how he celebrates victory. You judge it for when his back's against the wall. And my back's been against the wall these last 2-3 years. And with the help of a few people, we've fought our way back up to the top, and we're still learning, still looking to improve. And again, like I say, I'm not promising gold medals in Paris, but I'm promising best swims, best personal best, hopefully. And of course, the dream is to be Olympic champion again. But if not, we keep going.
You've been listening to the Swim Swam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take Swim Swam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.